Sounds familiar? Struggling for clean sound? One of the most demanding challenges facing a broadcast engineer today is riding the faders to maintain a coherent, balanced mix in the fast-paced environment of a multi-microphone talk show. Studer has been at the forefront of professional audio for the past 7 decades, and as the leading innovator in the broadcast audio console market, Studer has the solution for all unscripted multi-microphone shows, where the challenge is to mix the talent whilst managing the ever-increasing background noise of today's studio environments. Introducing VistaMix, auto speed mixing on the fly, outstripping fastest human reactions. No gates, no artifacts, no nonsense. Studer VistaMix.
Make sure you tune in, but for now that's Friday download complete.
My name is Adrian Harding-Jones. I'm a broadcast sound supervisor based in London in the UK, and I specialise mainly in studio entertainment shows. I want to talk a little bit about VistaMix, Studer's automatic mixing system, which I've been using on The Chase for ITV1, Friday Download for CBBC, and the new series of Deal or No Deal for Channel 4. On this Vista 9, I'm running a recording of Friday Download, which is a very lively children's entertainment show for CBBC. It features 6 presenters, all roughly sort of 15 to 17 years old. It's completely unscripted. There's no auto cue. The presenters have a vague idea of what they're going to talk about, but once we get recording, that's it, it just runs. Now, in an ideal world, I would only fade up the person that was going to talk. Now, I can't do that on this show because I don't know who's going to talk. No one does. So I have to have all the faders open all the time.
10 minutes. I was just like,
10 minutes.
You're really quick.
Can you give me see that?
Hand skills. Yeah.
Like literally that one just
Yeah,
fell
I
over.
do.
Magic, man. I thought you could just get it.
The problem of having all 6 microphones or any number of microphones faded up at the same time is not only background noise but spill from each other. Say Aidan, for example, were to say something and I have all 5 other microphones open. I'm getting Aidan clean on his microphone, but I'm also getting him slightly delayed because of the distance between them on all other 5 microphones. And that effect is spill. It sounds open, it sounds like his microphone isn't as close as I want it to be. Obviously, if you have lots of post-production time, you could just pick up Aidan's clean microphone and lose all the others. Unfortunately, we don't have this luxury, so to be able to do it on the fly with VistaMix is fantastic. So that's one issue, which is spill. But the other issue we're getting in studios these days is background noise. With the advent of LED technology, everything now seems to have a fan. You have moving lights in the grid, you have video walls and LED walls everywhere. The background noise is just getting louder and louder and louder. And combined with the fact that a lot of shows now go to studios that weren't purpose-built, so don't have purpose-built broadcast air conditioning, you really are struggling to get clean sound. One way to clean that up is to use noise reduction, but there's only so much noise reduction you can do before things start to sound very strange. So another approach is to only have the microphone faded up you need, and effectively that is what VistaMix does for you. Now, in the past, I would have just routed all my studio microphones to a stereo group, in this case group S1. And as you can see in here, there's no way I could mix that. I have absolutely no idea who's going to speak next. So I would have to have all my microphones at 0 and just hope for the best. So now, instead of routing to the group, as you can see it's group 1 there, I now take that off and route to a VistaMix. Now this desk is set up with 3 VistaMix buses, each with the maximum of 20 available. The small number there shows how many spare inputs I have left. You can see there's 19 spare, as I've only routed 1 input to it at the moment. So I'll go along routing the rest of them. So that's now all 6 microphones routed to the VistaMix. You can see I've got 14 inputs spare should I need them. So now you can see that these blue bar graphs have appeared. That's showing how much gain of that channel is going to the VistaMix bus. So the person talking is the one with the highest gain, the highest blue bar graph. The rest are all being pulled back down. Now VistaMix is a gain sharing system and it doesn't rely on dynamic gates. It's all done automatically and there are no thresholds for you to set. And because it's gain sharing, you don't hear gate switching, it gives you a much smoother result and you don't hear massive jumps in background noise. So I've chosen this piece of audio again from Friday Download because it really shows the difference VistaMix can make. So this is with it switched in.
See, that's good because I don't know if you...
And that's with VistaMix switched out.
That's how it is.
Don't tell me how to be sarcastic.
See, I don't know if that's honest
It
or
wasn't.
sarcasm.
It was.
See, I'm getting confused.
And this is switching it back in.
I think
See,
I don't.
Sarcastic.
I don't think you two are ready for this.
Thank you, George.
Are you ready for the sarcasm? Can you take? Are you?
Listen, I'm embracing
Can you
it
fully
all.
understand the sarcasm?
It's an everyday occurrence at Friday.
Yeah, but
Download.
guys, you've not noticed, George has moved. So
Why?
I'm glad you have, but why have you?
I just got like, you know...
Is she glad though? Because apparently she's quite sarcastic all the time. So
Do you know what though? Can I
Now I
just
said VistaMix was completely automatic, which it is, but there are a few parameters that you can adjust and you can access those by pressing this VMX button. Now this is the VistaMix bus fader. Now you can drop that onto your surface like any other fader just by right clicking and selecting VMix, and then all of your active VMixes will appear there. So by pressing this blue button you're given these parameters. So first of all you have VistaMix on and off. You can see when it's lit turquoise it's on. If I switch it to off everything goes dim, and importantly that goes out. That's a very good clue whether it's switched in or out. The second is calibrate and wait. Now calibrate is for you to set up at the start of the day. If you have one presenter that you always want to hear, then you can add a few dB of gain just to push them through the mix all the time. So say for this example, Aidan is our main presenter. I can just put 3 dB of gain in him, and it means that when everyone's talking, Aidan will just cut through the mix that little bit more, which is what you want. The other option is wait. So that's for during the show. If I think, do you know what, Shannon's not cutting through very well, I can just put a couple of dB in her and she'll just cut through that little bit more. Down the bottom here you have response, and that's adjustable from anything from 20 milliseconds right up to 4 seconds. From my experience I found that working in between 100 milliseconds or 200 milliseconds works best. If you've got a very noisy background, then I find just slowing it down slightly just eases those transitions. Now as you can see there are only 6 of these boxes, but that's because I've only got 6 inputs into my VistaMix. If I had the maximum of 20, there would be 20 of them, all named with the channel name. As the VistaMix bus is effectively an automatic group, it works in exactly the same way. Your contributions to the VistaMix are post fader, so if I fade out one microphone it disappears from the VistaMix, and also the VistaMix no longer uses that channel for its calculations. As your sends to the VistaMix bus are post fader, your insert sends and direct outs from the channels behave as normal. You can also assign your channels to control group masters as you would expect. So I'll just assign these 6 channels to control group master 1. And as before, they will behave as a control group master would. They've now all disappeared off the VistaMix bus. In this demonstration I've only been using one VistaMix, but you can use as many as your desk's configuration allows, each with a maximum of 20 inputs. You can also cascade VistaMixes into each other, which is exactly what we do at Deal or No Deal. We use one VistaMix for the West Wing, which has 11 microphones. We then use another VistaMix for the East Wing, which has another 11 microphones. And then these 2 VistaMix buses contribute to a third one, which has Noel, the player, and the 3 F&Fs on it. This cascading of VistaMixes gives you a very clean result. So in summary, VistaMix is a great tool for use in studio when you're trying to clear up background noise or reduce spill. Because it's a gain sharing system rather than a gating system, there's no fiddly threshold set up, and it gives you a much smoother result. With faster than human reactions and capability of processing up to 20 channels just using one VistaMix, the possibilities are endless. Having heard the results on the shows that I've mixed, personally I don't want to go back to using a system without it.